What if the key to true inner strength isn't how loud you speak, but how silent you remain under pressure? Why do some people stay calm in chaos while others crumble under the weight of the smallest insult? What would happen if you trained yourself to be unaffected so deeply that no external force could shake you? Have you ever wondered why some people seem completely unshaken no matter what life throws at them? Why nothing seems to disturb their peace while others get frustrated over the smallest things? What if I told you that this ability isn't something you're born with, but something you can learn, something you can master? Why some people are unbreakable? Look around and you'll notice something. The most powerful people in the world aren't the ones who talk the loudest or react the fastest. They're the ones who stay calm, the ones who seem untouched by negativity, unaffected by criticism, unmoved by the chaos around them. It's not that they don't feel emotions, they do, but they have learned one simple truth: reacting gives away your power. The moment you show frustration, anger, or insecurity, you hand control over to the outside world. You let people, circumstances, and random events dictate your emotions. And when that happens, you're no longer in charge of yourself. Your emotions are being controlled like a puppet. The silent strength of emotional control. Now, think about the most composed person you know. Maybe it's a leader, a mentor, or someone you admire. What makes them different? It's their ability to remain still in the face of chaos. They don't explain themselves, they don't rush to defend, they don't break their own peace just to prove a point. And that's because they've mastered a psychological trick: the ability to act unbothered, even when they are. Because here's the secret: the mind follows the body. If you act unaffected, your brain starts to believe it. If you carry yourself with calmness, your emotions adapt. And over time, this stops being an act, it becomes your reality. Why? Acting unbothered is a superpower. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance. When your actions don't match your emotions, your brain works to bring them into alignment. That's why when you act confident, you become confident. When you act unfazed, you become unfazed. But the opposite is also true. The more you react, the weaker you become. The more you engage in pointless arguments, the more power you lose. Every time you let something disturb your peace, you reinforce the idea that the world has control over you. So, starting today, you need to make a decision. Will you let the world dictate your emotions, or will you reclaim your power? What happens when you stop reacting? Imagine walking into a room where someone tries to insult you, but you don't react, you don't defend, you don't explain, you just smile and move forward. What happens next? At first, they may try harder to provoke you, but then something interesting happens. They lose interest. They see they have no power over you, and suddenly they stop trying. Because that's how human psychology works. People only push buttons when they know they work. When you remove the reaction, you remove their control. And that's when you become powerful. Your first step toward unshakable confidence. From this moment forward, commit to this one mindset: nothing outside of me controls me. I choose what affects me. I decide where my energy goes. Every time you feel the urge to react, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? 9 times out of 10, the answer will be no. Are not your emotions, you are the observer of them. Most people believe that emotions control them, that feelings of anger, sadness, or frustration are forces they have no choice but to obey. But this is an illusion. The truth is emotions don't control you, your reaction to them does. The moment you understand this, you gain something most people never will: freedom. Think about the last time something upset you. Maybe someone said something hurtful, maybe a situation didn't go your way. Now ask yourself, was it the event that disturbed you, or was it your reaction to it? Your mind is a powerful machine, constantly creating emotions based on how you interpret situations. If you believe an insult is an attack on your worth, you feel hurt. But if you see it as meaningless noise, it carries no weight. The strongest people don't lack emotions. They simply refuse to let them dictate their actions. They recognize that. Feelings are temporary, but decisions have lasting consequences. So instead of reacting instantly, they pause, they observe, they choose their response, and in that small gap between emotion and reaction, they reclaim their power. This is emotional mastery. When you stop letting emotions control you, everything changes. Stress no longer breaks you. People's opinions lose their grip on you. Unexpected challenges no longer shake your confidence because you are no longer a slave to your feelings you are in. Control, starting now, whenever an emotion rises within. You don't fight it, don't suppress it, simply acknowledge it. And then decide, is this worth my energy? The moment you start choosing your responses instead of reacting on impulse, you step into a level of power. Most people never reach a power that makes you unshakable. Your mind believes what you tell it. Every thought, every reaction, every emotion you reinforce becomes a pattern. If you constantly react with frustration, your mind learns that. Frustration is your default state if you let stress consume. Your brain adapts to see stress as normal. But here's the good news, you can rewire your mind. Resilience isn't about being emotionless, it's about conditioning your mind to stay steady no matter what happens. Psychologists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reprogram itself based on repeated experiences. And this is where real strength is built. Imagine two people facing the same problem. One crumbles under pressure, drowning in negativity. The other stays calm, assessing the situation. Without panic, the difference, their mental conditioning. The first person has trained their brain to react emotionally. The second has trained their brain to remain steady. Which one do you think holds more power? Your mind is always listening to you. Every time you choose to stay calm instead of reacting, you teach it that you are in control. Every time you act unaffected, even when emotions try to take over, you train yourself to become stronger. And over time, something incredible happens. What once required effort becomes effortless. What started as acting unbothered turns into being unbothered. This is how resilience is built, not overnight, not by 4-4, but through consistent training. So from this moment forward, whenever something tries to shake you, remember your mind believes what you feed it. Feed it strength, feed it control, feed it the belief that nothing can break you. Because once your mind adapts to this reality, the world loses its ability to shake you. Your mind follows your actions more than your feelings. This is why the most powerful psychological trick you can use is to act as if nothing bothers you, even when it does. Most people wait to feel confident before they act. Confidently, they wait to feel unbothered before they stop reacting. But that's not how the mind works. Action comes first, feelings follow. Think about a time when you force yourself to smile, even when you didn't feel happy. What happened? Within moments, your mood started to shift. That's because your brain takes cues from your body. The same principle applies to emotional control. If you stop behaving as if negativity doesn't affect you, your brain begins to believe that your emotions start aligning with your actions. Over time, this stops being an act, it becomes your natural state. This is not about pretending, it's about training your mind. When someone insults you, instead of reacting, pause, stay silent. Let their words disappear into nothingness. Your lack of reaction sends a powerful message, not just to them, but to yourself. When life throws unexpected challenges your way, straighten posture, slow your breathing, and handle it with composure. Even if frustration rises inside, don't let it control your Actions, the more you practice this, the more automatic it becomes. At first, it might feel unnatural, but soon it becomes second nature. You'll wake up one day and realize that things that once triggered you no longer affect you. Because by acting unbothered, you become unbothered. And once you reach that point, nothing, not people, not circumstances, not even your own passing emotion, can shake you. The world is full of people who will test your patience. Some will criticize you, some will try to provoke a reaction, others will attempt to make you feel small, insecure, or unworthy. But here's what most people don't realize: the moment you react, you lose. Why? Because when someone can trigger your emotions, they have power over you. The more you respond with anger, frustration, or defensiveness, the more control you hand over to them. This is exactly what they want to see you affected, to see you disturbed, to feel like they can manipulate your state of mind. This is how emotional control works. It's not about who is right or wrong. It's about who stays in control. Have you ever noticed how certain people love to push buttons? They say things just to get a reaction. They test boundaries. They feed off of drama. Why? Because your reaction gives them validation. It proves that their words have weight. But the moment you stop reacting, something shifts. They lose interest. They get frustrated. They realize they have no power over you. And this is where true strength lies, not in arguing, not in explaining, but in silence and calmness, and showing without a single word that nothing they say or do can shake you. From now on, whenever someone tries to provoke you, remind yourself their words mean nothing unless you give them meaning. Ignore them, not because you're weak, but because you refuse to hand over your power. Once you master this, the game changes. You no longer move through life reacting to every little thing. You move with control, confidence, and an unshakable presence. And when people realize they can't manipulate your emotions, they stop trying. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every comment needs a response. Not every situation requires your energy. Most people spend their lives reacting, absorbing negativity, engaging in meaningless battles, letting small things disturb their peace. But here's the truth: what you ignore loses power over you. Negativity is like fire. It only grows when you feed it. Every time you engage with toxic people, every time you dwell on criticism, every time you let frustration take over, you're adding fuel to the fire. But the moment you withdraw your energy, the fire dies. This is the power of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you refuse to let external chaos control your inner state. It means you recognize that not everything is worth your reaction. Think about it. How many times have you lost sleep over someone's words? How many hours have you wasted replaying negative situations in your mind? And for what did it change? Anything? Or did it just drain you from this moment on? Make a decision. Protect your energy. When negativity comes your way, step back, observe it, and then choose to let it go. Not because you're avoiding reality, but because you refuse to give your peace away so easily. This is how the strongest people operate. They don't engage in unnecessary battles. They don't waste energy on things that don't serve them. They stay focused, calm, and untouchable. And once you master this, you'll notice something powerful. Your silence becomes louder than words, and your difference becomes your greatest strength. The difference between weak and strong people is one simple habit: the ability to pause before reacting. Most people operate on impulse. The moment something upsets them, they lash out. The second they feel disrespected, they argue without thinking, without control. They let emotions take over. But here's the truth: your first reaction is usually the weakest one. Powerful people don't react, respond. They create space between the trigger and their action. That space, the pause, is where real strength is built. Next time something provokes you, try this. Don't react, immediately take a deep breath, feel the emotion rising, but don't act on it, just observe it, let it pass through you like a wave. In that moment, you take back control. You're no longer a slave to impulse, you are in charge of your own emotions. This is what separates those who are easily manipulated from those who command respect. When you pause, you force people to wait, you make them uncertain. They don't know what you're thinking, they don't know how to control you. And that is power. The next time someone insults you, pause. The next time frustration rises, pause. The next time life tests you, pause. Because in that small moment of still, you make the decision that weak people never make. The decision to stay in control. Indifference is not weakness, it is one of the most powerful tools you can ever possess. Most people believe that showing emotions is a sign of strength, that expressing frustration, anger, or excitement somehow proves they are alive, engaged, and in control. But the truth is, the most powerful people are those who are often the most indifferent. Indifference is not about not caring, it's about choosing what you care about. It's about realizing that you have the ability to decide which emotions deserve your energy and which do not. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how some people can insult others, provoke them, and yet those people remain unfazed? They don't argue, they don't try to explain, they don't even look disturbed. They simply don't react. That is indifference at its finest. It's not about being cold or detached from the world. It's about choosing not to let petty things disturb your peace. It's about showing the world that you can't be manipulated by their words, actions, or opinions. The more you embrace indifference, the more untouchable you become, the more you stop engaging with trivial matters, the less power those matters have over you. It's not that you don't care about important things, it's that you refuse to waste energy on things that won't change your reality. So every time something tries to pull you out of your calm, remind yourself, I am indifferent to what does not serve me. This doesn't mean you shut out the world. It means you stop allowing the world to control your emotions. You hold the power to decide how you feel, no one else. And when you embody this level of indifference, you start walking through life with an unshakable calm, an unspoken strength that no one can touch. Staying unbothered doesn't happen overnight. It's not something that you wake up with, it's something you build one day at a time. The mind is like a muscle. Just like you train your body to become stronger, you can train your mind to become unshakable. It starts with small moments, little choices, and consistent practice. At first, it may feel unnatural when life throws you a curveball. Your instinct might be to react, but the more you pause and choose not to engage, the easier it becomes. Over time, your mind learns to stay calm in the face of stress, frustration, or negativity. Every time you let a minor irritation pass without reacting, you build resilience. Every time you remain silent in the face of criticism, you strengthen your mental toughness. And eventually your brain adapts. What once felt like effort will soon become your new default. But the key is consistency. Just like a physical workout, you need to put in the time. You need to practice this mindset daily. It might not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Think of it like training for a marathon. In the beginning, you might struggle with every step, but as you keep going, your body and mind grow stronger. Eventually, you'll be able to face challenges that would have once rattled you, and you'll handle them with ease. Start small. Let the little things go. Don't let minor annoyances steal your peace. Practice staying calm in situations where you'd normally react, and with time, you'll see the shift. You won't be shaken, you won't be disturbed, you'll be unbothered, and that will become your new way of life. One of the most powerful forces in maintaining emotional control is self-respect. When you respect yourself deeply, you recognize that you are worthy of peace and emotional stability. You realize that you don't need to prove anything to anyone, and you certainly don't need to defend your peace to anyone. Self-respect is the foundation of emotional strength. It means understanding that your time, energy, and mental well-being are valuable. When you have this respect for yourself, you automatically stop giving others the power to affect your mood. Think about it. When you're calm and composed, you're not just protecting yourself from outside chaos, you're honoring your own worth. Reacting to every little disturbance is a sign that you don't value your own emotional peace. It's a signal that you've allowed external factors to dictate your inner state. But when you cultivate self-respect, you draw boundaries with the world. You tell people with your actions, I value my peace too much to let you disturb it. This doesn't mean you cut off relationships or become cold and distant. It means you maintain control over how much power others have over your emotions. You don't let negativity or criticism chip away at your sense of self-worth. The more you respect yourself, the more you realize that not everything deserves your emotional reaction. Your emotional energy becomes something precious, and you start investing it only in things that truly matter. And the more you protect, and the more your emotional strength grows. Self-respect isn't just a mindset, it's a lifestyle. When you practice it daily, you'll start to notice that nothing, not even the harshest comments or biggest challenges, can touch your inner peace. One of the biggest sources of emotional disturbance is expectation. We expect things to go a certain way. We expect people to behave how we want, and we expect life to unfold according to our plans. And when reality doesn't meet those expectations, we get frustrated, angry, or upset. But here's the secret to emotional freedom: let go of your expectations. When you let go of expectations, you stop setting yourself up for disappointment. Expectations are future-based. They hinge on things that haven't happened yet, and often things beyond your control. When you expect life to go a certain way and it doesn't, you create unnecessary emotional turmoil. But if you stop expecting, you stop giving life the power to disappoint you. You stop letting others have control over your happiness. You let go of the need for everything to go perfectly. This doesn't mean you stop aiming for goals or setting intention. It means you stop relying on a specific outcome to define your peace. You accept that life will have its ups and downs, that people may disappoint you, and that things will rarely go exactly as planned. But instead of reacting, you choose to remain calm, accepting, and unbothered by it all. When you let go of expectations, you make room for more peace. You stop getting worked up about what should have happened and start embracing what is happening. This simple shift, letting go of what you think should be and accepting what is, can dramatically change how you experience life. It allows you to detach from disappointment, frustration, and resentment. It helps you navigate through life with ease rather than fighting against it. So begin today. Release your attachment to expectations. Accept that life is unpredictable, and in that unpredictability, you will find your greatest strength. Because when you no longer expect life to meet your demands, you stop giving anything the power to steal your peace. One of the most important steps in mastering emotional control is learning to set emotional boundaries. Boundaries aren't just physical, they're mental, emotional, and psychological lines that protect your peace. They tell others how much power they can have over your emotions. Without boundaries, you become vulnerable to the world around you. You let people's words, actions, and behavior dictate how you feel, and in doing so, you lose your power. When you set emotional boundaries, you define what is acceptable and what is not in terms of how people treat you. You stop allowing anyone to treat you in a way that disrupts your inner calmness. Doesn't mean building walls or becoming defensive. It means making sure that your peace is non-negotiable. Think about how often you've been influenced by someone's behavior. Maybe someone snapped at you, or you got caught up in a toxic conversation. What happened next? You reacted, you let their emotional state control yours. But what if instead of reacting, you set an emotional boundary? What if when someone tried to provoke you or drag you in a negativity, you simply didn't allow it? This doesn't mean you ignore people or shut them out. It means that you don't take on their emotional burdens. You don't let their problems become your problems. You stay centered in your own emotional space regardless of what's going on around you. Setting emotional boundaries means not letting anyone's bad mood determine your mood, not allowing other people's negativity to become your reality, refusing to let toxic people take up space in your mind. When you master the art of emotional boundaries, you become unshakable. You no longer allow others to have the power to affect your peace. You're protected by the strong foundation you've built within yourself. So today, start creating those boundaries. Recognize when someone or something is trying to drain your emotional energy and simply refuse to let it protect your peace. And in doing so, you protect your power. Self-control is the backbone of emotional mastery. Without it, you are a leaf floating on the wind at the mercy of every breeze with it. You become the storm, focused, unwavering, and strong. The truth is, most of the time we're not angry because of what someone did. We're angry because we allowed ourselves to be triggered. We're not frustrated because of the situation. We're frustrated because we didn't exercise control over our own reactions. Self-control is the ability to pause, reflect, and then choose how to respond, not the other way around. It's a skill that requires practice, but once it's developed, it gives you the power to control your emotional state no matter what's happening around you. Imagine being able to respond to criticism with grace. Picture yourself facing a stressful situation, and instead of losing your temper, you remain calm, collected, and composed. That's the power of self-control. It's the ability to stay in charge of your emotions and not let them take the wheel. When you cultivate self-control, you stop being a prisoner to your impulses. You stop reacting with anger or frustration because you recognize that those emotions don't serve you. Instead, you choose a response that is aligned with your highest self, one that maintains your peace and keeps you in control of your own narrative. Here's the key: you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond the moment you start exercising self-control. You stop being a victim to your emotions. You take back your power and choose the outcome of every situation. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about choosing not to let those feelings dictate your action. So the next time life throws something at you, whether it's a criticism, an unexpected setback, or a difficult person, remember you are in control. You decide how to respond. And the more you practice self-control, the more you become the calm, unwavering presence in any storm. One of the most profound truths in life is that holding on to past grievances, negative emotions, or unhealed wounds only weakens you. It prevents you from fully embracing the present and stops you from growing into the strongest version of yourself. Letting go is the key to emotional freedom. It's not about forgetting or pretending that things didn't hurt you. It's about choosing to release the grip those emotions have on you. When you hold on to resentment, anger, or regret, you're allowing those emotions to control you. You're allowing the past to dictate your present. And most importantly, you're giving others and past situations the power to disturb your peace even long enough after they've passed. But what happens when you let go, When you let go, you free yourself. You stop carrying emotional baggage that weighs you down. You stop letting old wounds dictate your behavior today. And by doing so, you reclaim your peace, your energy, and your power. Letting go requires trust that the past is behind you, that the pain is no longer relevant to who you are becoming. It's an act of self. Liberation, a declaration that your peace and emotional well-being are far more important than clinging to anything that doesn't serve you. Imagine walking through life with nothing weighing you down, no past regrets, no old grudges, no unnecessary drama. Picture yourself as light, as air, moving through challenges with grace and strength, because you no longer let them attach themselves to your soul. That is the power of letting go. It frees you, it empowers you, it transforms you. So today, decide to let go of the anger, let go of the resentment, let go of the disappointments, and in doing so make room for the peace and strength that you've always had within you. The power is your silence, holds an unparalleled power in a world that thrives on constant noise, drama, and verbal sparring. Silence is the most potent weapon in your emotional arsenal. When faced with conflict, frustration, or attempts to provoke you, silence speaks louder than words. It's a response that doesn't require justification, defense, or engagement. It's the ultimate display of control and self-respect. Think about it. When you choose silence in the face of a difficult situation, you take the power away from the other person. You refuse to let their words or actions dictate your response. Silence is not weakness, it's strength in its purest form. When you remain silent, you create space for reflection. You will allow yourself the time to think, to process, and to decide how you want to react. If at all, most people react impulsively, driven by their emotions. But when you embrace silence, you stand apart from that chaos. You become the observer, not the participant. Silence also protects you from saying things you might regret. It allows you to step back and assess the situation from a place of clarity and calm, rather than responding out of anger or frustration. The words you don't say are often more powerful than the ones you do. In any situation, silence signals that you are in control. It shows that you are unaffected by the drama, unaffected by the noise, unaffected by the attempt to pull you into chaos. You choose peace over conflict. You choose strength over weakness. So the next time you're provoked or caught in a situation that threatens your emotional peace, remember this: silence is your strength. Embrace it. Let it be your shield. Because in the quiet moments, you hold the greatest power, the power to stay calm, composed, and unbothered no matter what.